esta mañana. Mire, nosotros mencionamos hoy cuando comenzó el programa de que íbamos a tener una entrevista con los padres de una niña que ha sido reportada desaparecida. Esto es en el área de Eastern Pennsylvania, y pues los padres de esta niña están aquí, llegaron a nuestros estudios, logramos pues tener comunicación con ellos y pues nos han dado la oportunidad de hablar con ellos, de traer este caso a ustedes. Una de las razones por la cual ellos están interesados en hablar con nosotros es porque pues esta niña de 14 años pues es de descendencia mexicana, su padre biológico es mexicano. Y ella pues tiene amistades hispanas, latinas, amigos que son hispanos, latinos, les gusta la cultura hispana. A pesar de que por su nombre y ha sido descrita, ¿no?, en la prensa como una niña de descendencia asiática, la realidad es que, y su mamá es asiática, pues la realidad es que ella tiene descendencia hispana, tiene amistades en la escuela y demás, y le gusta mucho la cultura hispana. Tenemos por aquí a Johnny y a Jay, que son la mamá y el padrastro de esta joven que ha sido reportada desaparecida y están aquí con nosotros en el estudio. Good morning, guys. Thank you for being here with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for taking the time. I know this is a very difficult moment for you guys, but I understand that maybe we can help, right? That maybe we can put the word out. We were just talking about it on the air, off the air, that your daughter has Hispanic heritage. And she likes the Latino culture, and she has friends who are Latinos, and we are hoping, right, that maybe she's with one of those friends, and that this message gets to the Latino community, and they can help into letting her know that it's okay to come home, and letting her know that she's loved, and that she can return.
Yes. Aubrey is 14 years old. And she's a very smart, very brave girl, and she's been missing for 62 days now, and she could be anywhere outside of Lehigh Valley as well. So we're urgently, please begging everybody, keep your eye on and help me look for my 14 years old daughter, and Siwoo, and she also goes by Aubrey.
Aubrey, so you said, lleva 62 días ya desaparecida esta niña del área de Easton, Pennsylvania, tiene 14 años. You mentioned that she left 62 days ago.
Yes, that's right. She left home on January 10th, and then the last time she was seen was January 11th at Wawa in Whitehall.
So when you said she left, I know there were some reports in the media that there is a video of hers. You actually saw from home video her leaving the house. So can you elaborate and give us a little explanation on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, thank you for having us on. We received video footage Friday night from our neighbor. He had a Ring camera pointed on his back balcony. What we're able to surmise is that Aubrey went out her bedroom window onto a roof. She climbed onto an adjacent roof and then scaled the fence onto his back patio. We saw her leaving. It's the same clothes that she's seen in the surveillance footage the next day with. However, one important note is when she left our house, she had a very tiny backpack. Would only fit maybe a cell phone, some cosmetics. But on the Wawa surveillance footage, she is seen with a very large over-shoulder bag that looks like it's full of probably clothing or other items. We can only guess.
But that's not what she was seen leaving the house.
Our home. That is correct. Yes. Yeah. So she did not leave our house with whatever is in her in that bag and that bag itself from the surveillance footage.
So ellos nos están explicando de que pues ella fue vista por última vez saliendo por la ventana de la casa. Las cámaras de un vecino captaron el momento cuando ella sale por la ventana del cuarto, se trepa en el techo de una casa vecina y pues se fue de la casa. Luego la niña el otro día fue vista en un guagua en Whitehall. Cuando ella se va de la casa nos explican que se fue con una mochilita pequeña donde le cabe su celular y un par de cositas. pero que entonces cuando la ven al otro día en las cámaras de seguridad de este guagua, ella tiene una mochila grande, un bulto grande, que no fue con el que se fue de la casa. So, eso es un dato muy, muy importante.
Ninguna de las amistades de ella han podido dar algún tipo de información.
Yeah. So Diamond, my co-host, is asking, have you talked to any of her friends that may give you an idea of why she left or where? Any girls talk to their friends. Have you haven't been able to get any of their friends to maybe give you some sense, some idea of why she left or where?
So we've had a substantial number of conversations with her friends. I would say it's been just a lot of conflicting information. Hearsay. There's a story related to there was a recent older male in Aubrey's life that she was talking fondly about to her girlfriends. She had sort of a street code name for the guy, Lorax. So we'll share that here. We've been very actively keeping an eye out for a male somewhere between 20 and 25, Easton area. There's a number of people, suspects that fit that profile. But what I would say is our own independent work looking at our daughter's social media, once we got a hold of that information, it doesn't really track with what her girlfriends had intimated about.
So the information you're getting from her friends doesn't match the information you're getting from her social media.
Correct. That's the best way of putting it. Yeah. And I think that may be somewhat intentional. It looks like our daughter, the way she had her friends, they were kind of tiered based on what level of information she would share with you based on how important you were to her. So we do know of some misinformation and different things, but we've had a lot of time, and some of her friends and their parents especially have been very, very helpful and shed a lot of insight into our daughter's mental state in the weeks before. So she was discussing running away pretty openly.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you about that. I mean, I'm a parent. I have kids, and those of us who have kids know how kids are, right?
Yes.
They get upset for what they believe is the end of the world, even though we understand that it's not. This is not the first, and it won't be the last that a teenager decides, I'm leaving, right? I'm running away. But so she spoke to people about running away. Why? What was her reasoning from information you gather or from information that you know?
Want me to take it or?
Yep.
Okay. So what we are aware of is that there was an increased level of bullying by some of the upper class students of our daughter. There is an allegation that we can confirm is the truth, that there was an explicit photo of our daughter and an upper class male student. As that image made its way and circulated through the high school, it led to a large increase in threats of violence towards Aubrey from other classmates. It also ended up being a CYS, Child and Youth Services referral. It went to Easton City Police. It went to everybody except Jade and I. We had no knowledge of this situation in Aubrey's life.
So hold on a second. So you're telling me that there was a compromising picture of your daughter running around through the school. People in school knew about it. There was a referral to social services. The police knew about it, but no one had contacted you to say, "Hey, this is what's going on." There's
the school didn't contact you.
The school didn't contact you or anything.
I want to be 100% clear when I say this. That is how you just summarized it is 100% correct. What we have learned after Aubrey ran away was that her principal, he made the decision to interview her by himself in a closed office by himself. Where he discussed with our daughter this compromising photo, and our daughter denied. She said it was probably AI or some other photo altering software, that there was no truth to it. This principal did not bother to call Jade and I and let us know that he had questioned Aubrey about this photo.
Or the matter, period.
Or the matter, period. But coincidentally, 1 week prior, and in studio here, I can show you my phone, and you can tell your audience it's true. He had questioned our daughter because another student went to his principal and wanted to alert them that our daughter was being threatened by other students in the hallway outside of the classroom. So on that particular day, her principal, Aubrey's principal, text messages Jade and I and says, I just want you to know, with another female staff member present, I talked to Aubrey about this threat of violence.
Wow.
But then a week later, December 19th, he questions Aubrey alone about a compromising photo involving an upper class
So
male
he
student.
questioned her first about the violence threats, and then he questions her again about the compromising photo, but the parents didn't know anything about it.
That is 100% correct.
That's horrible.
We only informed about this matter one day before Aubrey has left home.
So the day before she left is when you guys found out about it?
Correct. And that came from Child and Youth Services. So we had another phone call just about Aubrey's ongoing treatment plan. And we're on the phone with them for about 25 minutes. In the last minute of the phone call, they asked us what was our thoughts on the most recent referral. I said, what most recent referral? And they said the referral from December 19th about the compromising photo with Aubrey and a upper-class male student. And we said, I have no idea what you're talking about. So the evening before Aubrey runs away is Jade and I took Aubrey out to eat. Our position is, and I want to be very clear, she is a victim. She's a 14-year-old freshman in high school, and the circumstances are that an upper-class boy on the varsity wrestling team, which at Easton High School, that is your elite level boy, was in this compromising photo with Aubrey, and the referral was turned in by one of Aubrey's classmates. They were very concerned for her safety and her integrity.
So another student was protecting or trying to protect her.
Aubrey,
and
correct.
he's the one that said, hey, somebody needs to look into this.
Yes.
So you found out about this second investigation. You take her out to dinner. You have a conversation with her. You discuss the matter, and what was her reaction? What do you guys got out of her when now she knows that you know?
It takes a long time for this conversation to progress. At the beginning, my daughter was refusing to acknowledge such matter, and then we keep talking about it until really late at night. But at the end, she acknowledged this incident, but she wouldn't. She wouldn't want to share
she's a teenager.
more.
I'm pretty sure she was embarrassed by it. She
Yeah,
was
definitely.
embarrassed by the fact that you now know about it, and the embarrassment of you, her parents, looking at the picture.
Right.
And then that's the night that she runs away.
The next night. So
next-
let me just go back to that conversation, because there's a few things that happened during that conversation that we thought she was lying, and I'm sharing that because I owe my daughter the decency of now apologizing to her, and I hope she can hear this. That night, she told Jade and I that it was a no issue. It was a fake photo, and she made the comment, I even told my principal when he asked me about it. And because her principal, prior to now us knowing, he did privately discuss a compromising photo with her, and I want to be very clear, what I'm saying is he is essentially having a conversation with a 14-year-old female about what would be akin to child pornography by
Correct.
himself with her,
Yes.
right? And so our daughter presents that to us during this conversation as evidence that other adults of authority, like the way she views Jade and I, have already said it's no big deal. And I now realize as a father, weeks later, and she's not home, and probably a lot of this circles around her being embarrassed.
And
that
her mental state
yeah,
as well.
100%. And it's really disappointing to know that she was telling us the truth and we didn't believe her. And through that conversation, we were trying to figure out how could this photo have been taken. And so I asked for her phone, because her phone has, child protections on it, a lot of limitations. And I didn't see anything on her phone. So I looked at my phone bill, and I saw that she had been using a hotspot off of her phone, the device I provide her, and we began to ask her questions of, do you have a second phone in our house or some other device? Yeah, so we, because of this late conversation over the CYS matter, we accidentally discover
That
she
she
has
has
another phone and sort of let's call it a secondary life on social media.
That you had no idea.
No idea, and she's been doing that for several weeks prior.
Kids are kids. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
This is not new. There's plenty of people listening right now who are in the same spot, who are going through the same things that teenagers do, right? But now she's been gone for 60 days.
Correct.
Yes.
And you guys don't have any idea yet, no clue, nothing.
Is her phone still active?
Yeah, is her phone still active? Have you seen any
Social media
social
activity?
media
anything?
any activity on that phone? Anything in the last 60 days that would leave you to believe that, okay, she's out of the Pennsylvania, or she may be in Pennsylvania, or anything at all in the last 60 days that might leave you to conclude that she may still be around here in Pennsylvania somewhere?
There's no updates at all for the last 60
She took her
days.
phone. I was going to answer that. She took her phone.
She did take. We've never found the secondary phone.
Okay, but
we
her
have
phone, the one that you knew about, that she took that one. Or
No, that we took that phone away from her Thursday night because she would not admit what the secondary phone
That's what
was.
parents do.
Exactly.
I'm going to
Yes.
take your phone
Yeah,
away. Absolutely.
I took her phone away
Yeah.
and I disabled the hotspot, which kind of brings us into the events of the first 24 hours where Aubrey's gone.
So she left. You have her phone, but you haven't found the second phone, so it leaves us to believe that she took it.
Yes.
That she has it, but you have no way of getting into that phone, right?
Well, we by a stroke of luck, Saturday afternoon, a young boy who we believe was her boyfriend, a real boyfriend, who goes from the Wilson area, which is right by Easton. He gave us some details of how they would communicate. And from his information and then cross-checking her social media platform, we were able to identify it's a very unique name of this young boy. We contacted him and said, do you know our daughter? And do you have anything to do with her having a secondary device? And he told us everything.
Okay.
He's fully cooperative. His
Good.
family's been cooperative.
Good.
Very good.
And so we do now know the timeline of she had a new iPhone with an iCloud account this young boy was paying for her. As many people in her saga, his story to us was he has a crush on our daughter, and she gave him a turkey sandwich, and he gave her an iPhone and an iCloud account.
That's what that's what
I mean,
kids do.
it's
That's
tough
what kids
to
do, right?
Exactly, and our daughter, you know, one of the things we share so proudly is how intelligent she is. But she's book smarts, but she's also people smarts and street smarts. You know, Aubrey kind of has the full package, and so she knows how to get, and she can be very resourceful.
So we mentioned that her father, her biological father, is of Hispanic descent. You guys mentioned to me off the air that he lives in California. Any chance that she may be in her way to California? You know, again, that she has any contact with him that may leave her to believe, okay, well, I'm going to get on a bus, I'm going to I'm going to hitchhike my way to California. Could that be a possibility?
At this point, I'm not going to exclude any possibility. Aubrey has never met her biological dad all this year, and through the past custody matters that we were in contact in court, but not in a personal level.
Yeah, so she doesn't have a relationship with this man who is her biological father.
Yeah, that is correct. And but I think there's definitely possibility that she's curious about her biological dad, but I did not hear from her of expressing interest of pursuing as strong. But it's definitely possible. She's curious.
Now,
Any other family member she was close to that you might think that she's on
If
that?
I could just add to
wait,
that. Okay.
Diamond was asking, is there any other family member that she may have a relationship
very close.
outside of the area that she may want to try to go to or look for, refuge during this turmoil that she's having in her life? Any other family member somewhere else?
Aubrey's grandmother is living in Reno, Nevada. That would be a possibility as
That she
well.
they may be trying to go to grandma over there in Reno, and maybe in her way over there. That's a possibility.
That would be a possibility too.
Now, from media reports, you guys are now in contact with the FBI. So the FBI is involved, right? They're helping you.
Well, I want to be clear. We are requesting their help.
Okay.
What is being presented as FBI involvement is tasks. So, for example, if there is a phone number or a social media account that the local police needs assistance,
Access to, yeah.
exactly, that's where the federal involvement is. On a coordination level, they are not involved. On a responsibility level, as in, things that are directionally happening of the investigation, they are not involved.
So with the possibility of her maybe trying to go to Reno, Nevada, or maybe even all the way to California, the federal government, the FBI, is not involved into getting the word out outside of Pennsylvania through, I go by what I see on television, right? But what we've seen in other cases where they now do postings in all the rest areas, right? Or they send the word out to the truck drivers, right? If you see this kid hitchhiking, or if you see her at a bus stop, or if you see her at a rest area, contact the FBI. They're not involved in that level. I mean, it's been 60 days.
I would say, and I think I'm like you. I've had a lot of this. Unfortunately, as we're living this, we're learning, right? And I thought so many of these things that look so flawlessly executed from the outside, I would say where you want to give the credit for that level of coordination and raising awareness is actually really in the nonprofit space. They have really stepped into that void. So there's one organization, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
I know them very well.
Okay,
yeah.
so they really play a critical role in that multi-state awareness raising, flyers, truck stops, all that. But make no mistake, I would say the most impactful people, at least in our situation, has been the people of the community. The mothers, the fathers, uncles and aunts who have heard Aubrey's story, watched Jade and I bear our story online to anyone who will watch us, and then they join us and locally go out and literally put tape in hand, put a flyer on a wall, and tape it and tell a story to whoever's listening in that spot. That has been by far how most of our information about this case has gotten out there publicly.
So a little bit of breaking news that I received this morning was that there was a guy that was arrested. And this guy that was arrested has a connection to her.
Yes.
And he was arrested. So can you elaborate in confirming that, yes, that this gentleman, which is from Easton, was arrested and that has some connection with her?
That's correct. And first thing I want to do is give a shout out to the child predator team, Shane, Eddie Cares, who also helped get us on air here with you. There were a number of local people that made this happen. This was not a law enforcement matter. They actually let this guy stay out on the streets in our community for months.
So this is a guy that's a registered sex offender, is a known pedophile.
Correct.
And so how is he connected to her?
So initially, when we first got into Aubrey's social media, my job as Aubrey's father, I read the chats to start to understand who our key people are. I saw this gentleman was talking to Aubrey. The contents of their conversation, I can just broadly share that essentially Aubrey had asked this man to take care of settling things with the boy who was in the referral allegation, the compromising photo. So when I read that, I did not see any of his existing videos. I just saw that most recent conversation. It was January 9th. And I called him directly through the social media app, and I said to him two things. Number one, I'm her father, and you are far too old to be talking to my daughter, so this is going to end here or I'm going to break your legs. And number two, if you act on my daughter's request that you put your hands on a juvenile boy, I will be the first person at your trial testifying that I know you're involved.
So, do you have any idea how she even met this guy? I mean, obviously, he's how old is he?
22 going on 23.
So he's 22, she's 14. Any idea how they met, how they came in contact at all?
So I can speculate for you because we do have a lot of information and it is an active investigation, so I don't want to be too compromising, but we do believe his communication with Aubrey began several months ago when she would have been 13 years old on another social media platform. So there's a possibility there. They've known each other for quite some time. How the origins of that, I don't know. But I do know that on camera, this individual, and I don't know, can I say his name?
Well, yeah, he's arrested.
Okay.
We are showing the arrest report that
Okay.
the police. This is public information.
So we found him first on social media, Snapchat. His username was Prince Zai. I saw several compromising photos of him. We looked him up. And on body cam footage, he admits to sending pictures of his genitals to our daughter. That were several of those types of images. And we provided all this information to the investigative police force that's looking for Aubrey. We could see that this gentleman was in constant communication with her. Obviously, she trusted him. She asked him to go beat somebody up on her behalf on something we know now, obviously, was a very embarrassing and tumultuous experience for her. And this was a gentleman she was enlisting to help her. And this is, one of our things we're most scared about from our daughter is that she's asking people like this
And
to help her.
so this nonprofit organization who does this on a daily basis deals with this type of person.
Correct.
After you now find out that he has contact and has sent pictures to her, they approach him
Yes.
and recorded the interaction with him.
Yes.
He's on probation for child pornography and sexual misconduct with a minor. So he has a history of doing this. And so they approach him. And you mentioned to me in our conversation off the air that on that recording, while they're talking to him, he admits to having a conversation with her, to sending her
Yes.
pictures of his privates.
Yes, he has and it's all of this is available online. The Predator Hunter group recorded all of it, released it, so there'd be no ability to defend this scum, to be very honest.
So now that you have this recording, what is now the police doing? Because obviously, I mean, he has to be one of a person of interest, if you will.
Oh, 100%. And that's one of the most baffling things. So as this is happening real time, Jade and I get a phone call from Shane's team that they are having this conversation. The two of us get in our car because we're looking for some street justice. After 8 weeks of our missing daughter, he asks us to stand down and not get directly involved, but that he lets us know the Easton City Police are on their way. That night, as also is on camera, the Easton City Police come. They collect all the information. They also talk to Zaire, who he admits everything that is on the recording, right? Because he can't deny it.
I can deny it.
He does admit it's true. I'm not sure exactly if he gave them his phones that night, but he does admit to having two phones on his person, one for secret conversations with minors, one that he uses for his job. Yeah. And then the Easton City Police, they contact the district attorney, is my understanding, who says he's part of an investigation. They are not to arrest him and they are to leave. So after all of this is streaming online for the entire world to see, mothers are waking up yesterday morning to the knowledge that there is a sexual predator living in their community who is not registered with correctly that he's living there. We got those messages from several mothers that were thanking us for alerting them that there's a predator in their community. And then yesterday at about 11, maybe 11:30, approximately 11:30 in the morning, his parole officer got him on a parole violation, and they took him into custody. Now, I don't want to tell your audience that the police were not involved in that. I just can say we do not have that knowledge. But what I can tell you is when we went to bed and our daughter's bed was empty on Tuesday night, that guy was sleeping in his bed comfortably. Now, he wasn't last night, but he was on Tuesday night, and we were very frustrated by that.
So, wow, I mean, this is I mean, again, there's a lot going on here. And so now it's been 60 days. What are you doing now? What are you guys getting ready to do next? What's happening? Where you go from here? I mean, I know obviously you're here talking to us. You want to get the word out. You want as many people as possible to know about your daughter, to hopefully get a hold of her, let her know she's not in trouble, right?
Correct.
She's in love. She's a love. Her family loved her. All you guys want is to know that she's okay, that she's alive, and that she needs to come home, and that everything is okay, right? That we all make mistakes, but we are welcoming her home with our hands open, and then you guys want to get the word out. I mentioned that she has a lot of Latino friends from schools and so on and so forth. So if any parent is listening and know that one of her kids was friends with Aubrey and has anything for, doesn't matter how little or insignificant it may be, it could be important.
Yes, anything helps. So I'm here asking everybody, please look her up and know her face and keep your eye open and help us to see if anywhere that Aubrey could be or even looks like her. Then don't miss the chance. Report to 911 immediately.
And I think as far as what are we focused on next, and I see you've got her flyer up, and we appreciate that. Join our Facebook group, Aubrey's Not Found. We're continuing to share her story, and our focus right now is, as the investigators have recently shared in the media their thoughts that she might be outside the Lehigh Valley, the pressure we are putting on the investigation is to look at those first 24 hours. There were two very suspicious, very odd acting families who had Aubrey physically with them, and we do not know those families. One of them is very wealthy, acting very weird with a story on both sides. The stories have changed multiple times. They have a great amount of resources. They hired lawyers very quickly in this matter. They've never spoken, not one time, to Jade and I, which...
So there's someone who had information...
Two families.
Not information. They literally had contact with her.
Correct. There is a woman who had Aubrey in her custody. We do not know this woman. I want to be very clear. We gave her no permission to have our daughter in custody, and she knew our daughter was a missing child. This woman had her from 10 p.m. Friday to 9 p.m. Saturday, January 11th.
I was going to ask you for the so
and
basically,
the police is aware of this.
The police aware of this.
Oh, the woman herself is the one who told the police, which is so bizarre because, believe it or not, this woman also told the police she took Aubrey out of the state of Pennsylvania to an alleged dog show in New Jersey, somewhere, as they've now reported it, so I can speak on it, between the hours of noon and 5:30 Saturday, January 11th. This woman brought Aubrey to a dog show somewhere in New Jersey,
knowing that she was a missing
child.
Wow.
And the police, from the beginning, and you'd only they can answer to this reason why, but they have refused to share information about Aubrey's time and details with this woman. Now, since we finally were able to learn the woman's identity, we can theorize that it is because she's extremely wealthy. She has made lots of with political donations. She has built, or her family and associates are responsible for a lot of development in the ABE community.
Yeah, but that wouldn't hinder an
casinos, buildings,
investigation.
schools, police.
This is something completely different. This wouldn't hinder an investigation.
So the police know this. She's
Correct.
admitted to spend time with her. The police is not giving you any information on. Okay, so if she was with Aubrey until 5 o'clock, what happened afterwards?
Well,
Where did
she was with Aubrey until 9 o'clock.
Okay, and at 9:30, what happened? Right, 9:01, 9:03.
Yeah.
Where she left her, where she dropped her off. You don't know anything.
They are refusing to give us any of those details. But what I can tell you is we got her phone number and we learned of her existence. This is Jade and I at 8:30 p.m. Saturday, January 11th. What we do between 8:30 and 10:30 when we get the confirmation Aubrey's no longer with this woman, for those 2 hours, we call this woman probably 20 to 30 times. Leaving crying voicemails from parents. We fully explain that, whatever story and reason you may have for being with our daughter, all we're asking you to do is call the police. Call the police. Call 911. You don't have to talk to us. You don't have to believe us.
If you think she's in any danger, call the police.
And, aside from calling, I also sent her text messages. I set up a text thread with the lead detective of Aubrey's missing persons case and this woman.
No response at all.
And she refused to respond. And that has been the pattern with her the entire time. She has never returned one of our phone calls. But I want to tell your audience this one thing to help them understand the mindset of this woman. The very next day, Sunday, January 12th, a young girl from the Allentown community, actually Latina, and one of Aubrey's best friends, we asked this young girl, please do us a favor and call this phone number and leave a voicemail for this woman. Explain you're her friend and ask her for details. She would not answer the call, but she sent this young girl a text message back, a response within about 3 minutes, acknowledging simply, Aubrey is no longer available at this phone number. Yet she would never respond, never has responded to Aubrey's mother or father from our 20 phone calls begging her to please pull over and call 911. And Aubrey was seen at the same time that the Pennsylvania State Police make it to this woman's home after our 911 call. And the footage of Aubrey in the Wawa is nearly identical at the exact same time. The police have no idea where Aubrey went after she left the Wawa, even though there are cameras all over that stretch of the highway. It's MacArthur Road in Whitehall.
I was going to ask you, in the world that we live in, right, with technology and cameras, they haven't been able to follow her from the Wawa somewhere through cameras. They haven't been.
There are cameras everywhere.
The Wawa's got 20 different cameras.
Exactly.
There's no video of her getting into a car.
Nothing.
There's no video of her walking onto the highway outside of Wawa.
None that we are aware of.
Not that you are aware. That's what I was going to say. Not that you have been told.
That's correct. And we have asked that question 1,000 times. How, and we were, Jade and I went to that location the very first night, because when they called to tell us that the story this woman gave was that 20 minutes before the Pennsylvania State Police got there on the 911 call, Aubrey ran out her back door into the night. Now, the walk from that woman's house to the Wawa on foot would be 2 hours. That's the distance. Yet Aubrey was already at the Wawa 20 minutes after she's alleged to have left. Something doesn't add up here. There is other individuals involved. Perhaps this woman, if I'm just speculating, and I want to be clear, it's speculating, perhaps she drove Aubrey to the Wawa or closer to the Wawa than she is suggesting, because these things by car are only a few minutes. It's on foot because of the terrain, the unpaved roads.
20 minutes.
Exactly.
And exactly the 20 minutes that she was recorded afterwards at the Wawa.
Exactly. But nothing since.
Listen, again, there's a lot going on here. You guys have a lawyer?
We do.
Because, at this point, that's what you need. You need a lawyer that can, put pressure on the police and
Yep.
and defend your rights as parents to know information, to know more. So that's why I wanted to ask if you have a lawyer, somebody that it's putting pressure on the police to make sure that they give you as much information as possible. Now, I'm hoping that the police is not giving you more because they are working on a theory and they are, I'm hoping, right?
Yeah, we hope too.
Getting close to something, and they don't want to screw it up, and we from the outside may not understand it. Hopefully one day we can look back and, okay, that's why. But yeah, I mean, you need a lawyer, somebody that can put pressure and again, know the law and defend your rights. It's been 60 days.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, so we do have a lawyer. Her name is Allie Krafthamel, and I want to give her a shout out. She is on the phone with Jade and I all day, every day. Most of our calls were on the phone till 2, 3 in the morning. Most nights, actually. And she also has a 5-month-old child of her own. She is very invested and has made a tremendous impact on this investigation. But I want to be clear and clear some things up for the public. The first people to hire lawyers in this matter were the families that had Aubrey for the first
Now,
24
you said
hours.
two families. So there's you mentioned a woman. What's the other family?
So
that
the
you're
other
mentioning?
family is the mother is she called a welfare check to our home. And that's how we were alerted that Aubrey had run away in the first place. And she claims that her son was Aubrey's boyfriend, but I can see you're in our group. We have released Aubrey's unedited conversations with this boy, and they do not paint a picture of a relationship in the context that I think most healthy-minded adults would call a relationship. We all know what teenage relationships, they don't look like adult relationships, but if you were to read what we've shared, I think people would come to the very same conclusion as us. There is a young boy with strong feelings for our daughter, which is not uncommon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young boys that feel that way about our daughter. But one of the things that really stand out about this boy is his persistent references to his own mental health, his own psychology being very stressed out at the lack of interaction that our daughter is providing him, which is akin to, I think as adults, we might call that stalking.
And there's any information you may have that this second family had any contact with her after she left the house?
Absolutely. So that is the key. They are central to the whole story. So at 8:30, about 8:30, Saturday, January 11th, Jade is awake for going on 25 hours. She's messaging all of Aubrey's friends in her Snapchat social media, letting them know Aubrey's still not home. We're very concerned. If she's with you, just get the word to her that we would like her to come home. We can figure things out. And at the same time, this boy, and he lives in Copley, Pennsylvania, a community we've never heard of, that is about 35 minutes away from our home. He inbound messages an apology for him and his family not being able to help Aubrey, which elicits Jade response. Why don't you take it from here, Jade?
Yes, so I got in contact with this boy on Snapchat. He was apologizing of not able to help Aubrey. I immediately told him that Aubrey has been missing. I'm her mother. I'm looking for her. Do you have any information about that? He told me that they met in person about half hour ago. So immediately I asked him, where is it, with who, what's the circumstance? He told me that there is a strange woman brought Aubrey to his at his door, like to maybe the corner of his house, the crossroad.
So he said he met with her a half hour before you sent him the message,
Yes.
and that a woman brought her to the corner of where he lives to meet with him.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And this is where where we are asking the police to focus their investigative efforts, because a lot here doesn't add up. So that
Correct.
day when we talk with him, if you start to really dig into the timeline, what he is suggesting is that at 8 o'clock, they in person see Aubrey, and they describe the woman as a disheveled older woman, ill-tempered, a little bit aggressive. They mention that his mother and the older woman and Aubrey get into a shouting match. So this woman is scolding Aubrey for coming there unannounced. As this is all, I want to be very clear, these are not corroborated facts by any kind of footage or anything else.
Just
this
hearsay.
is just hearsay that they told us on the first night. But the thing that didn't register for us when we were talking with them was they did share with us that they made the welfare check call to the Palmer police the day prior.
Prior.
Yeah, and so one of the first questions we asked was, if you made the welfare check looking for Aubrey on Friday, why are you now telling me that you were screaming at her, sending her back into the car of a disheveled older woman driving a large black SUV who you are telling us you didn't know, you know we don't know, and you know our daughter's a missing child because you're the one who initiated the investigation to look for our missing child. And they would not talk to us. Subsequently, when we tried to call them the next day, because as parents, our focus was more on the sense of urgency to get the woman's phone number, start to call the woman. But then when she doesn't come home, she's not found. Jade and I, Sunday, January 12th, we have a lot of cameras in our home. And so we kept replaying the segments of the call that were recorded. And we had this realization that, wait, hold on. What we're supposed to believe is that this woman, who Friday at 6:45-ish, when she made the welfare call, she was so concerned and her son was hysterically crying that they needed to know Aubrey was okay. Saturday at 8 p.m., Aubrey is right at their house.
And they don't call the police.
And they don't call the police. They go back inside and go back to their normal life. What happened was their son, who I've already said to you in my impression is stalking and / obsessed with our daughter, he goes to his secret Snapchat social media account thinking he's contacting Aubrey on her secret Snapchat.
You.
And he's contacting mom. This is the luckiest break in this entire matter because without his compulsive need to keep contacting our daughter and Jade being a mom of the year, 25 hours no sleep looking for her daughter on social media. She's at the computer at the exact second that boy sends that message. I already fell asleep. She woke me up. We immediately look in the social media conversation, and it's on our cameras. And
that's why he was referring to, sorry, I wasn't able to help.
Because his own parents refused
to help.
Refused to help and went back to their life, and he reached out to Aubrey to apologize. But I think somebody with a much higher power made sure Jade was sitting right there to receive that message.
Listen,
that's the only information and only way we know about these people.
Well, we hope that this conversation gets out and someone out there listening knows something, can contribute something to your investigation, to your need of bringing your daughter home safe.
Villa, ¿algún private eye le ha ofrecido la ayuda a ella?
Diamond, my co-host, was wondering, have you been able to get a private investigator, a professional?
I want to say this, and I hope that those two families are also listening. We have, through our lawyer, we have engaged a private eye team.
Okay.
But behind the scenes, and this has been the most beautiful thing of this nightmare experience, there are a number of highly qualified law enforcement, nonprofit types that are publicly helping us, but there are just as many privately helping us, and we are closing in on these people. We have a lot of information. There's a lot of holes in their stories. So we're very optimistic, especially in the last 24 hours of things that are being learned. So yes, there are a lot of people helping.
So you are very optimistic that your daughter, it's okay within the situation, and that she's somewhere. You just need to get a hold of her and let her know that it's okay to come home.
Yes, and I would say what would be really beneficial is if the folks in law enforcement who are leading this investigation could set their egos aside. And I recognize that I very publicly have questioned their urgency, their empathy, their leadership.
Oh, rightfully
and all
so.
of those feedbacks are appropriate. But we all should be working together for the safe return of this young girl. She does need help beyond what Jade and I can do, and we understand that, and there's a lot of that lined up, ready to welcome her with love and help Aubrey, because Aubrey is the kind of person who's going to grow up into an adult that makes a difference in the world. She's that talented. She has such a good heart for, yesterday we had people from the Special Olympics come to our home to share their love for Aubrey, and I told them, I said, you watch, when Aubrey's home, she's going to come and support your organization.
Amen.
And that's the kind of girl she is.
All right. Well, we're just helping to get the word out.
Appreciate it.
That's the best we can do. We're here. Anything you need at any time, anything that we can put out through our social media, through our airwaves, please let us know. Don't hesitate. And we hope that we can in any way, shape, or form contribute and help by having anyone listening. I mean, we got people listening in Reading. We got people listening in Philadelphia. We got people listening in Lancaster, here, in the Lehigh Valley. So our footprint is big, and we hope, and that's why we agreed to have you guys on, because we hope that through our footprint, someone somewhere is listening and can, contribute something for as little as they think it may be, right?
Exactly.
I thought I saw someone that looked like her. I saw somebody look like her walking down the street, right? That may be insignificant, but it could be a big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So on that, if I could just speak into your audience, here is the greatest help. And I'm aware we're not always all feeling comfortable picking up the phone and calling the police.
Yeah, I don't want to get involved.
Exactly. You want to stay anonymous. You want to stay off the grid. I want to say there is a $7,000 reward for information that leads to Aubrey being recovered. And you can call me directly on social media. I'm sure they can pull it up here. My phone number is widely out there. I do respond to every single person that gives me a tip. Even if you want me just to make sure I call the police and follow up that they take your tip seriously. We just want to get this girl home and get her, located safely. So you don't have to call if you're not comfortable with the police. Maybe you yourself have a warrant, or your status isn't clear.
Anybody listening, they can call us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
Plenty
here.
of friendly voices that will listen.
We are here. If you have any information, send us a message through WhatsApp, send us a message through Facebook, and we make sure it gets to whoever it needs to get to.
Exactly.
If you don't,
Thank you so
if you
much
don't want
for
to get
that.
involved. So, again, I wish you the best. Yes.
If I can add an addition, is that if you spot Aubrey, please take a picture or a video and immediately
Or
call
anybody
911.
that looks like her.
Yep.
Anybody that looks like her.
Yep.
I think that girl looks like the one they're looking for. Let me take a picture. Let me take a video.
Yes.
That could help.
Yes, and call police. Call 911 immediately, and you can reach out to me or John. I can spot it immediately if that is my daughter.
Yeah, we've had
by
a
the
lot
way-
of close sightings.
Yeah, and by the way, whether you live in Lehigh Valley or Reading or Philadelphia or Lancaster or anywhere, you can call 911 in your local municipality and say, hey, I'm calling you because I'm aware of this young lady being missing out of Easton, Pennsylvania. And I think I saw her. I think she's here right now. And that local police department will respond. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that you don't live in Easton or that you're not calling the Easton Police Department. You can call any police department and just say, hey, there's a young woman who's missing out of Easton, and I think I'm looking at her, or I think that I saw her, and then that local municipality will, get involved. So,
And one thing we can share, I think Mom wants to.
Yes,
edit.
one thing I want to share is that Aubrey's missing person police report number is 25-00323.
And that adds value because when you make that tip call, right, when you call 911 wherever you are, there's, you want to tell them, I see a missing child, it's Aubrey Wu. Most, I would say, across the state now, there's been so many sightings, they know. But when you give them that police report number 25-00323, it makes the work easier for the 911
They find it
operator.
right away.
Yeah, and then they can put it in their system, and then they dispatch the cops to the location quite quickly. So that's why we share that so much, because it will make your jobs easier.
but again, we don't want to discourage anyone.
Exactly.
Just
Yes.
call.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know there's a young female missing out of Easton. I think she's here. I think I just saw her. I think
Yeah.
I'm looking at her. Send someone quick. And
Yeah.
guess what? The police will go.
Yep.
Yep.
go, they will question that person, they will follow up, which is the important thing. So, wow. Again, I hope that someone out there can deliver this message and convince her to at least call, send a message.
Yep.
Mom, I'm okay. And anything, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for any sign that she's okay.
Yes.
Somewhere, but okay. All right, guys. Thank you again for your
Thank you
time.
so much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
all the way over here at any time. Please, don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Ay. Bueno, señores, ahí está. La comunidad. Tenemos que como pueblo, ¿verdad? Unirnos. Tenemos que como pueblo ayudarnos mutuamente. Y eso es lo que estamos tratando de hacer. Una joven de 14 años reportada desaparecida 62 días atrás, pero que vive en nuestra comunidad, que tiene amistades en nuestra comunidad, que tiene descendencia hispana, que tiene muchos amigos hispanos en nuestra área, en nuestra región. Y esperamos que alguien esté escuchando y ayude. All right, no se mueva nadie. Vamos a una pausa y regresamos aquí en el Circo de la Mañana. Buenos días.
El 5 de la mañana. Ahora sí vamos a ver si es que las pelas. El 5. A ver de qué cuero sale más correas. Aquí no hay espacio para los crecas, no. Tampoco para comparones. Claro no. Si no sabes, no te metas chancleta, evita los moretones. Evita. Desde el 5 de la mañana, los number one, los campeones. Y si a ti no te invitaron, mi hermano, no estás entre los mejores.
Ya está en Allentown, Hernández Jewelry, la grandota de Pensilvania. La joyería más grande y con mayor variedad en oro 14 quilates en todo Pensilvania. Donde encuentras los mejores precios y servicios como arreglo de joyería, personalización de prendas, cambio de tamaño de anillos. Pero lo mejor de todo es que ofrecen opciones de pago. Sí, solo necesitas tu ID y tu cuenta de banco y puedes llevar tus prendas a pagos bajos. Recuerda, solo con tu ID y tu cuenta de banco. Visítalos en el 1310 de la Hanover Avenue en Allentown o llama al 484-591-1959 con teléfonos 484-591-1959 o 484-627-2249. También puedes hacer tus compras en línea en hernandezjewelry.com. La joyería más grande y con mayor variedad en oro en 14 quilates en todo Pensilvania es Hernández Jewelry. Visítalos ahora mismo en el 1310 de la Hanover Avenue en Allentown, la grandota de Pensilvania.
Reading, todo está listo para armar la parranda. Luis Enrique, sacas hijos de su Tour 2025. Prepárate para este loquerón con Luis R. Conríquez. Luis R. Conríquez, Traca, hijos de su Tour 2025. 26 de abril, Santander Arena. Boletos a la venta este jueves a las 10 de la mañana por livenation.com.
Atención, conductores de autos. ¿Quieres darle a tu carro un look más elegante y protegerlo del sol? Bueno, pues Topline Auto Spa tiene las ofertas perfectas para ti. Oye, ponle los tintes a tu carro por solo $180. Y te llevas el lavado del carro gratis. Además, mejora la estática de tu carro. El tinte ayuda a reducir el calor, proteger tu interior y te da más privacidad. Pero óyeme, avanza porque esta oferta es hasta el 31 de marzo. Topline Auto Spa en el 1020 de la Airport Road en Allentown con el teléfono 610-467-9055. Llama, reserva tu cita 610-467-9055. Dale a tu auto el estilo y la protección que se merece. No esperes más. Lleva tu carro a Topline Auto Spa.
C-Town Supermarket, la tiendona del pueblo, en la ciudad de Bethlehem. Aquí están nuestros especiales de esta semana. Arroz canilla y rico mediano de 20 libras, $10.99 con la compra de $50. Habichuela Goyas en lata de 29 onzas, 2 por $5. Jugos Honey Delight, 128 onzas, $2.99. Salsa de tomate Goya de 8 onzas, 15 por $8.99. Malta India de 7 onzas, 8 paquetes, $6.99. Harina de maíz Maseca, 4 libras, $3.99 con la compra de $25. Patitas de cerdo, $1.79 la libra. Manzanas rojas deliciosas, 99 centavos la libra. Cilantro, 99 el paquete. Síguenos en Facebook, C-Town Supermarket Bethlehem. Hacemos delivery gratis. Visita C-Town Supermarket 226 y de la calle Tercera en Bethlehem. C-Town Supermarket, la tiendona del pueblo.
Imagina que ya no tienes que pagar por comestibles nunca más. De hoy a marzo 31, cuando compras con nosotros y usas la aplicación de Grocery Outlet, podrías ganar comestibles de por vida gratis. Ve todas las grandes ofertas como verduras y frutas frescas, carnes de primera y tus marcas favoritas. Compra hoy con la aplicación en tu Grocery Outlet local y podrías ser uno de los 2 ganadores que reciba $500 mensuales durante 40 años. Compra no necesaria. Aplican restricciones. Muchos participan, pocos ganan. Detalles en groceryoutlet.com.
Grocery Outlet Bargain Market.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
This is ludicrous.
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Urban Air es el parque de aventuras bajo techo definitivo en el Valle Lehigh, donde las atracciones se adaptan a cualquier nivel de aventurero. Tus pequeños guerreros pueden conquistar obstáculos, desafiar la gravedad y divertirse cualquier día de la semana. Y no te olvides de los adultos. Ellos pueden competir en la pista de karts multinivel mientras los niños prueban los nuevos mini karts. Déjalos volar durante el juego libre o lleva su próxima fiesta de cumpleaños a nuevas alturas. Además, no te pierdas de nuestra pizza y alitas en el Urban Café. Sea cual sea la ocasión, ven a Urban Air Indoor Adventure Park para tu próxima aventura. Ubicados en Trexlertown.
Encienda su imaginación en el 2025 Lehigh Valley Auto Show. Del miércoles 19 de marzo al domingo 23 de marzo. Disfrute explorando vehículos nuevos, vehículos clásicos, vehículos potentes y el nuevo show de sintetizadores personalizados. Todo en un solo lugar, en el Campus Goodman de la Universidad de Lehigh. Trae a toda tu familia a encontrar el vehículo de tus sueños. Hay algo para todos en el 2025 Lehigh Valley Auto Show. Del 19 al 23 de marzo en el Campus Goodman de la Universidad de Lehigh. Para boletos e información, visite lehighvalleyautoshow.org o compre boletos en la puerta.
En el 2025 siguen siendo los número 1.
Si ustedes quieren, hagan lo que les dé su maldita gana.
BJ y Diamond.